Hi, and welcome to Cat's Creations, where today I am going to show you another incredibly easy and new wreath design. So I've never done this one before, so I can't wait to show it to you guys. Let me get through some housekeeping, really super simple. So if you love the design, like I think you will, you're going to want to save this video. So really the only way that you can save the videos now is to click that share button. So by clicking the share button, what it does is it takes that video and puts it on your Facebook page. That way it's easy. You know exactly where to go once you get all of your supplies. And it's super easy. What else? YouTube subscribers, it's a little challenging for you. The only thing really you can do is hit my subscription bell at the top right-hand corner. So you'll be subscribed to my YouTube channel, and whenever we upload a new video, like we will be later tonight, you guys will be the first to know about it. And then you don't have to go searching for did you do new videos. So thank you for those of you that are joining me right now. Let's go ahead and go over the materials so we can get started. I value your time, so let's get everything covered. So what you will need is 3 items from the Dollar Tree store. So, and the Dollar Tree store is the only one I know of right now that is currently carrying them. Can you turn on the heater? So I'm going to go ahead and pivot you down so you can kind of see exactly what I am going to show you. So just 1 minute while I pull you all the way down. Right there. I think should just about do it. So what you're going to need is you're going to need the heart-shaped wreath frame. So with Valentine's Day, like, I'm trying to think of what today's date is. What is today's date? The 17th? Yeah. You got about 2 weeks. Well, no, about 30 days, give or take. But these should start popping into your Dollar Tree store if they don't currently already have them. And then you will need 4 8-inch Dollar Tree wreath frames. And they come, here's the great thing. This is why you go to Dollar Tree. Because I went to Michael's, and Michael's sells them, but they're like $3 a piece. You go to Dollar Tree, and you can get 2 for $1.25. And you need the 8-inch. Why? Can you go bigger? You guys know how particular I am about perspective, and that all has to, like, make sense. So, the design that I have planned today, it makes sense to go small. Number 1, because it looks good. And number 2, it'll fit in a 24 by 24 inch shipping box, which is about as wide or as big as you want to go if you're shipping your wreaths. So, in addition to that, you're going to need some form, some color of chenille yarn. So you can go with the thinner chenille yarn. It doesn't matter. You're just going to use a little bit more of it than you would if you got now, we were pretty limited because we don't have very many Dollar Trees or Joann's or Hobby Lobby here. And I wasn't able, I didn't even really find what I was looking for in any of those stores. So thankfully I had some left over from designs I had worked on during Christmas when we did the snowman. But if you go chunkier, you will cover better. You won't use as much. You will only need 1 skein each, either of the thinner or the thicker. So, okay, got the chenille, 1 skein each. You'll need 2 sets of the 8-inch Dollar Tree wreath frames, so a grand total of 4 of the little 8-inch forms. And then you will need the heart-shaped wreath frame from the Dollar Tree, and then whatever ribbon you want to use to make your bow. And then if you want to add a cute little sign like I am going to do tonight, I found these 5x7s because sometimes it's really hard to find small signs when you're doing a smaller design. So this is a 5x7 sign. I love the quote on this one. It says, "A dog is the only thing on earth who loves you more than he loves himself. So this is from Personally Yours, which is plywreathsigns.com if you're interested in that sign. So we're going to be using that on this wreath. So we have ribbon. I've got 3 different 1.5-inch ribbon. We've got our small sign. It's optional. You don't have to use it. 4 of the 8-inch rounds, and then 1 heart-shaped wreath frame. Any questions before we start? Oop, that goes upside down.
Everybody's just saying hi, everyone.
Hi. So hi, everyone. Thanks for joining me. Okay, so the only thing I'm going to show you really super simple is there's a little technique. And if you've seen my other yarn video, when we did the Valentine's Day heart, there's a little step that you need to be aware of besides, excuse me, besides just wrapping it around your wreath form. Because once you get into this section, what ends up happening is because you have a smaller area to cover here and a much larger area to cover here, you don't want your yarn to bulk up in these areas. You want it to be the same as everything else. So that poses a challenge, but I solved that. So what you can do, one of 2 things. You can tie on your chenille yarn, just tie a little knot in it, and then I add glue to it just to keep it in place right here at the corner. And then you're going to add another little dab of glue to the underside here, and let me pull this one all the way through. And then right here in the corner, I'm going to also add a little dab of glue. I'm going to go ahead and put this on the opposite side, right there. Just because I want it to stay. This is my starting point for my entire design. It's easy if you get this part established. Could you just start here and go all the way around? Yes. But part of the whole design thing is making sure your yarn isn't just willy-nilly wrapped around, that it makes sense the way that you designed it. So once you get it going, and this is where the thicker yarn will make more sense, is you're just going to hold it in place here at the bottom till you get this section done. You could tag it with a touch of glue if it really bugs you too much, because you want to make sure your frame is completely covered. So just like that. And then I'm going to start now just wrapping this around our form. And I'm just going to keep that all pushed together. What I have a tendency of doing is as I'm wrapping, I will bunch this up, because you're using chenille yarn. Some people have a tendency of going thin. Why? There's a reason why you went with a thick style chunk. So don't go cheap on it. You know, really pack it in there so it's nice. It creates a very plush, full wreath. So don't go cheap. So pack it in there really good. Okay, so we're almost to the tricky section. So in here, once you hit the section, what I want you to do, remember we came around, I'm in the next section, you're going to go completely around just the outside frame only. And then you're going to go around. And then you're going to go around fully. Then as you come up, you're going to go around just the inside and then go back around. Yeah, just the outside. But as I wrap that, what it's going to do is occupy the extra space so that by the time I get around here, we don't have a crazy bulk and then this starts to feel a little too thin because you're trying to worry about, like, how do I keep this from getting overly thick? Just do the extra wrap. So again, because I'm running out of yarn, you're going to, as we come around into that section, we come around, we're going to go just the outside rail, bring it in, you're going to go around, right? We've completely covered it, and now we're just going to wrap it again, and then you're going to go around the outside, and then you would go back through. It's just creating an extra little piece right here that's going to make all the difference in the world as you come around to that wreath form. And then you would complete the whole thing. Then, once you're done, you're going to take all your little individual pieces, and this is what I was talking about tying on, is you can start here, and you can just tie on cute little knot. So super simple. Tie on just like this, and I usually leave enough to where it's got like a tail that goes down and then it'll wrap back up. And then what I'll do is I'll tag it here all the way along this form. I'll move my knot over, and then I will draw my chenille yarn around here. Make sure that glues. Flip it over. Go ahead and glue here on both sides. You're going to let that piece kind of sit there until that's glued on. And then, so you have a more manageable piece, because, you know, as you're wrapping this around, it can get pretty big. It can get pretty bulky. But all you're going to do is just sit here and go all the way around your form and cover all those 4 wreath forms perfectly to where they're all completely covered. And this is where I'm saying I will take this, and as I'm wrapping, I'm holding it and pushing and compressing this yarn so that I have full coverage as I bring that next piece around, especially when you're dealing with thinner yarn, because you want it to look just as fluffy and chunky as the other. And you can go chunky on the big and go thinner on the little pieces. The only thing you need to be concerned with is that the colors match. Okay, so cover your heart-shaped form, cover the 4 8-inch forms with your yarn completely, and then it's going to look like this. Here's my heart-shaped wreath form, and here are my 4 that are all completely covered. Okay, do you kind of see where I'm going with this? Any questions so far? All we've done is covered these 4 different frames with chenille yarn, just because it's nice, it's thick, and it's fluffy. So are you using 2 sizes of yarn? I just did on the demo, Kathy, to show that it didn't really matter if you're using the thicker or the thinner. When I did this one, it's all with the thinner chenille yarn, but you can use both if you feel like it. Some people may only have enough to do their heart, and they're like, well, I have the thinner. Can I do thick on one and thin on the other? It honestly doesn't matter as long as you have a good color match. So preferably stick with one skein. If you're just, you know, using whatever you have around your house, then feel free and, you know, use what you have. You could even do twine. You can do rope. You can do, I wouldn't necessarily do ribbon, because then it starts to really feel not like good quality items. It just kind of feels thin, like too thin. Okay, I'm going to move that because that's too hot. Now what we're going to do is we're going to assemble the whole thing together. Okay, so what you're going to do is, the way that this is going to lay for you is you are going to be aware that your chenille yarn will pick up everything. So I'm doing it this way so you can see from your perspective what we're going to be doing. We are going to take our heart-shaped wreath facing you, right? Not facing me. You have your heart upside down. You're going to take your 2 8-inch pieces and you're going to put them right in between. So we're going to fill the gap in between these. So we're going to zip tie the 2 8-inch together. We're also going to zip tie each of the 8 inches to our heart-shaped wreath.
Kathy said, so if I have all the thicker yarn, I can use all of it?
Yeah, absolutely. Go all of it. You'll use less of it than if you have the thinner yarn.
And then, did you see what Phyllis said?
Yes, Phyllis, we're making a dog paw print wreath. So I saw this, and this is absolutely adorable because these supplies are in Dollar Tree now. So once you have your zip ties in here, then what we're going to do is we're going to add the additional 8-inch rings. And this is why you don't want to go any bigger than 8 inches, because if you did 10-inch or 12-inch rings, number one, if you were shipping it, then it gets outside of the shipping size that is affordable to ship, and it just kind of doesn't look like it should. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I have black zip ties, 6-inch zip ties, and I'm going to start zip tying these together. And because it's chenille yarn, we know exactly where a wreath frame is, right? So what I want to do is, I'm going to do this all from the back, is I'm going to zip tie it on. I'm going to go in here, right in between my chenille yarn. Just poke it right through your heart-shaped wreath frame. I'm going to try to keep these as fairly close. Oop, I need to flip that around. Okay, any day now. Okay, there's that one. I'm going to go ahead and do this one same way. I'm going to, number one, make sure I have them upside down. So in here, just poke it through again.
Phyllis said she made one last year for a friend that has a dog kennel. She used rope because of it being outside.
Yes, so obviously if you're going to put them outside, you need more suitable material for inside. This is more, and even though it's how I have it listed on my website, is this is preferable for inside use only because of its design and construction. So I'm going to trim those, and then we need to zip tie these two together.
Dwilly said this would be a great design. Do you know the finished size yet?
Yes, I do. It is 21 inches. 21 inches from top to bottom, 26 inches wide, and 2.5 inches tall or high. Like if you're doing it, what am I thinking? Depth-wise. So there's that. Okay. Ta-da! Now it's floppy right now because we haven't put the rest of our forms on. So it's just going to fold over. But you want to make sure that you've gotten your little indent in here so it looks like we did it all together. Okay, then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to zip tie these two together, and we're going to zip tie them to the frame.
Right, Kat said perfect for a vet clinic or a
Dog groomer.
Dog breeder, dog groomer.
Pet rescue. Whatever you have. So I'm just trying to get
Barbara
these.
said, so what size box would it fit in?
It would fit in a 24 by 24 by 4 inch high box.
Yeah, because they'll bend a little bit. Right?
It's not even going to need to bend. I'll show you. I'll prove to you it'll fit in a 24 inch box, even though it's 26 inches at its widest. Okay, so let's go ahead and finish doing these. You guys are asking great questions. I promise I will get to all of them. I'm just trying to get that up through.
Love it.
It's absolutely adorable. Okay, there's this one. And let us go and do that. And see, we're starting to get more stability. Like I created one here. If it feels like it's still just a tad too wobbly, then just add some additional zip ties towards the bottom to kind of help keep things from kind of folding. By the time we get everything on there, we're going to have that stability that you're looking for.
Yeah, you could. That'd be cute. Just as you attach your business card, or you can actually have a little business card holder on the front of it. You could have your business cards there, and people can just take from them.
Yes, you could.
Judy said this would be perfect to add your pet's pictures.
Yes.
Behind
So,
them.
yes.
Yeah.
So, we know that this is an 8-inch round, right? Let me give you the dimension of, if we were to measure it, based on the inside, you're looking at about, I would say, to be safe, like 5.5. 5.5 on the inside. So if you had your pet's picture and you had a whole bunch of them, like you could do this as a pet memorial and put every single one of your pet's pictures inside if you've lost that many. I know my dad has 3. So he could do like, you know, he could put one here, one here, one here. And then his current dog, he knows, you know, we know they're not going to last forever, but sadly, you can put your pet's pictures inside the frame, which is why I left them open.
Yeah, Barbara, that's awesome. She said, I did this and added dog pictures in the round rings.
Yes.
Sign on the heart.
Yes, you can definitely do that. And that's what I'm not putting pictures in here, but you can put your own pet's pictures. You could also, instead of pet's pictures, you can, like when we put the bow on it, you could add your pet's collar to that if you happen to have their collar handy. You can do that as well. And I'm just kind of beefing up my frame a little bit here. Just because it's kind of like how we've done the grapevine ones in the past. We're wiring them all together, and I'm making sure that these are really cinched down good. And the great thing about black yarn, black zip ties, is you can't see that. So let's go ahead and add this one right in here, just to help give it some more structure on our frame. Oops, trying to get that through. So you want to make sure you've got them zip tied tight. Don't go, you know, like not too tight because you're afraid of that. And so there we have, and see, this is what I'm telling you, the black picks up everything. So there is all of our paw prints. Like I said, you can put your pictures in there. We're going to go ahead and add our sign. So we're going to do the small sign. This is where those come in super handy. And I just felt that this had the sentiment I was looking for. So we're going to go ahead and add our sign, probably right in here, to our paw print so that we can still see the bottom part. So we are going to need our metal hole punch, which is right here. So I'm going to go ahead and attach these to the top part of my rings. So I'm going to put them right about here in each corner. Pop my hole.
Really right, yeah, you can do these in all different school colors for the teams that are like bulldogs or...
Oh yeah. See, you guys are already like thinking way outside of the box.
Yep.
Bigger outside of the box than I'm thinking. If you wanted to secure it down to the bottom, you can. I'm not going to go super tight because otherwise I'd really have to get, I would probably have to add it to the bottom. Let's see. I am trying to figure out, like, do I for sure want to put the sign there? Or do I want to put it someplace else? I think that's kind of what I had in mind, and I'm looking for my floral wire. So when we did our other wreath class, I think I kept everything in a different place. There we go. All right. So we don't need an awful lot of it because it's not going to go very far. It's not like we're putting it in on a really super deep wreath. Just like so. Okay. So I am going to feed the shrew my sign. we're building from the back like we always do. Make sure we have an equal amount. So building from the back just simply means I'm taking my wire and I'm putting it right over my hole on the back of the sign. And I'm just going to give it a couple twists. This way, when I lay it, it's going to be more flush because we have the bottom part has a little bit of an elevation that the sides do not. So I want to not feel like I'm yanking my sign all the way down. Right over our hole. Okay, let's go ahead and look at that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and make sure that that stays right on our paw prints. And if we remember the construction of the 8-inch round, we have that middle rail, and that's what I'm aiming for when I'm putting my sign on. I want it to go on the middle rail. So right in between. I don't want to do it too tight in case I want to move it. Same thing here. Feel for that rail so that you know where it's at.
Barbara asked, where's the sign from?
Personally yours. So it's plywreathsigns.com is where I got the sign from. Okay. So there is our sign. If, like I said, if you want, you can attach it again down to the bottom. Preference is entirely up to you. Here's how it is right now for you guys that are seeing this. So does it reflect right?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Just making sure. All right. So let's make a bow. So we're going to make a super simple bow to kind of tie all this together. So I am going to just take this, I'm just going to set it to the side because I don't want, I guess I should have kept it here for a second. I just don't want it to get all hairy and all lint filled.
None of the chickens are doing great.
So,
hello from Minnesota. How are the chickens?
The chickens are good. They are enjoying the rain that is coming. Okay, so the ribbon I have picked out, and these are all from Craft Outlet. I'm doing a black and tan because we have the tan from our sign design and then the black paw print. So I thought a black and white bold stripe would be really nice, along with a black and tan diagonal plaid. And then we're going to pop it with that super fun dog print that has the dog bone silhouette, the hearts, and the paw prints on it. And that'll kind of tie the whole design, the sign with the paw prints, into our paw print wreath, and then kind of tie it in with the colors that we have here. So knowing that, you kind of have to figure out, okay, even if you wanted to do your bow here at the top, you've got to look at, okay, what's the longest really you want your tails to be? I think I want mine kind of off to the side right here, so that it's kind of like it'll frame this general space in here. So I think, is this about, yeah, 7 inches. So we're going to do 7-inch tails. So we need to dovetail our ribbon in first, which is just bring your wired edges together. You're going to cut from the folded side to the wired point, just like that. We knew it's 7 inches. So I'm going to remeasure my 7. I'm going to pinch in. I'm going to grab my bow dabber because it's just going to hold all my layers together. And I want about a 4.5 inch loop. So I'm just using the 20-inch line, placing my bow dabber, what do you call it? Like the crease, the opening, right on the 20. So when I pull this out, that's right at 5. I want to bring it in a little bit. So it's right at 4.5. Then we're going to do the same on the other side. Just kind of guesstimate, you know, where that is. Wow, that is little, kind of way off on that one. Bring that back over, right about there. And then we're back out to 7 inches. Let's do a nice dovetail cut on here. Just like that. We'll go ahead and add our pin, throw it in our project bin to get put away. And then we're going to grab our black and tan diagonal plaid. And we're going to do a little bit shorter tail. We're going to do a 6.5. So starting at my 10, 6.5 inches in, I'm going to gather. I'm going to do my twist. Because you don't need a big bow. And we're going to go right about, let me look, and I'll tell you. We are going to do, this one's a little, it's like 5.75, so I'm going to go 5.5. I feel like if I take it all the way down to 4, then we're going to have a really small little baby bow. And I don't want it to go that small. So here we are with that one. And I'm going back out to 6.5. Dovetail the end. Just like that. Back in your project bin. And then we're going to add our dog paw print one. So we're going to do 6 inches for our tail. So right here, 6 inches in, we're going to twist, place it on the inside. I think this is going to finish up this roll. We are going to take this one down to, I think, right about 4.
Julie has to hang straight using those 2 middle circles.
Yes, ma'am, it will. You can even add a pipe cleaner in the back so that it'll hang right in the center. Right. If you wanted to do that. What?
Or if you have a little screw or anything, it'll just hang right in the middle.
Yep. Some people like their paw print to kind of hang off to the side. They don't like it straight up and down. That's strictly, you know, a customer's preference. So I like giving them lots of options, not like, hey, here's the hanger, this is how you have to hang it, which is why you can hang it sideways, you can hang it straight up and down. Okay.
Julie said she's going to do your part rose wreath on her live tomorrow.
Who?
Julie.
Oh, nice. Okay, so here we are. We're going to use a black pipe cleaner because we don't want that to show. So here's black. We're going to go ahead and go up and over. Grab our bow like so. Drop our pipe cleaner in. We are almost done. Go ahead and wrap that around. I'm going to move this out of the way along with those. And because this bow is a different bow, this is the ones where you want your tails to come down. I'm just pulling all my tails down. I'm not going to fluff it on the board. I'm just pulling all of my tails down. And then I'm going to pull my loops up. So I have black and tan. As soon as I can get my finger in there, black and tan. We're going to put the dog paw print right in the middle of that. Do the same here. Up. Pull this one down. Do the dog paw print right in the middle. So that's basically what our bow is going to look like. We're going to go ahead and tag it where I think I want it to go. So I've got to make sure I'm going in between those sections And then here it is. Now I can work from it from the bottom. So this is what it looks like if we add it to the side. I'm not going to twist it, just so we can show you a couple different ways to make your bow work. If you feel like the ribbon tails are in the way of your sign, you can either move your ribbon up higher, or you can cut your tails a little bit shorter. I want this one down here. You can even pull this one up to the side.
So would you do 2 bows, or would it be too much?
I feel like 2 bows is too much if you're adding a sign. If you added no sign, then yeah, you could probably do 2 bows. You know, maybe do one here, and no sign. So that is how it looks if we just do 1 bow. So I'm trying to show it to you so you see it, how it should be. So there's one look, okay? So there's that one. Or if you wanted to add it up above here, I'm going to show you this one really quick, because I didn't put it on all the way. I just barely gave it a couple twists. We can also add it to that space up above the 2 paw prints. And you can play with the placement of where you want it to go. If you put your bow in the center, like I just did here, you can use the pipe cleaner that you are using to attach your bow. That could become the pipe cleaner / hanger for your design. This one needs to come over here.
I think I like it off to the side.
So it's entirely up to you how you want that to look. It's just going to all be designer preference. So
Yvonne said, how about the bow on the bottom center?
How about the bow on the bottom?
Well, then you don't see the paw print.
Yeah, see what ends up happening is if you put it down here, and I'll show you, you kind of lose the fact that it's a paw print. It just looks like you put 5 circles together. So if we added it here, let me, trying to get that situated. That's kind of what it would look like if we put it at the very, very bottom. And it's just, and here's the great thing, right? You can take a picture of this designed 3 different ways with just moving the bow placement around. The customer can choose, hey, I don't want to add a bow. I would just really like to be able to add a picture of my pet and maybe their pet collar. I'd like to incorporate the dog, my dog's dog tag in the center of the bow. The fact that it's made with the chenille yarn, especially the little thicker part down here at the bottom, they can pin on, you know, a frame of their pet's pictures that way. So lots of different design options. So I'm going to do the side because that's the way Steve likes it, but that was kind of my initial design choice was, hey, let's do it to the side. So I'm going to go ahead and get that situated. And I'm going to look at my bow the way I want to see it. And let's really pull those down. And I'm going to just trim these up just a little bit because I feel like this one's just in the way of my sign a little too much. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. What we do on one, we do on the other.
Yeah, Yvonne said, I agree, the bottom kind of takes away the shape.
Yeah, and I think you like the little indent there, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I have mine designed. And like I said, choice is up to you. We can put them in a wide variety of different colors. You know, if your dog was a black dog, then obviously black paw print might go more along the lines with the dog that you happen to have or have now. I just think the black makes a statement over like the white, but you could, you know, you can do black and tan. You can kind of weave colors in. You can kind of do them in like a wide variety of different patterns, maybe that is more preferred to the pet that you had.
You
so
take like a brown felt and put it on the inside of all the circles and the paw.
Yeah, you could.
Like pads.
Yeah, you could. You could take, like Steve was saying, take brown felt. And the only way that I can kind of do that is with like my silicone mat. So he's saying, you know, you could fill this in so that you have like the toe beans part, the little pads. Yeah, and you can incorporate that into the design as well. So it just depends, entirely up to you. If you like it open, leave it open. If you like it more along the lines of kind of what I had planned, and I'm just cleaning up the back here because I never show you guys like what I do on the back. I'm finishing these up. Oh, you have it here. So I'm going to go ahead and add these, remove that, and I've already got this one all attached. We're going to flip this over, and bucket of fun. I'm going to take this one, and I'm going to bend that back down into my form. I'm going to go ahead and remove this extra piece. And tuck that back down. And let's see, let's add a hanger to the center. So this is what I was saying. You could take your hanger and keep your hanger in here. It just depends on like what you like. So let me show you what I meant. Let me flip this over. Let me flip my bow real quick. I'm going to go ahead and tilt you guys up, so be prepared. Wow, my camera's really off. How does that look? Too high?
Yeah, too high.
Too high! Hold on, you're going back down just a little bit.
Okay.
Are we there? You can't look at that because you're going to have a delay. You have to look at the camera.
Yeah.
We're good? Okay, and you already took the chicken down?
Yep.
Okay, so now I'm going to pick this up, and here's your options, right? We can choose to go right in the center, and I'm trying to get that to stay. These ones, I think I might have them on a little too tight. So that's front and center. Man, that's a bold statement on a white door. You can also do it. Some people like it. Well, that's still way too. I'm trying to get it with a slight tilt. Do I want it like that? Like that. Slight tilt.
Yeah.
That's the way I prefer to have the dog paw prints, is I like them on a slight tilt, but it's all going to depend on you. So however you want to snap your photos and get things prepared, or, you know, take your photos, it's entirely up to you. Hopefully I have been able to teach you another super simple, quick design that you can put together with things that you're able to find at your local craft store, right? You don't have to order expensive paw print frames to be able to yield a simple paw print wreath. And you can do this with any type of form. So you can do it with the wire forms, you can do it with a grapevine form. The process is all the same. If you're doing grapevine, all you're going to do is wire them together. You're not going to cover them with the yarn. You're going to add a simple bow, add a sign. If you choose to use a sign or not, you can use regular just wire, like just the regular wire hoops, and do something a little bit more simple. But options are plenty Do you guys have any questions that I can answer for you?
Donna said, heart, love it. Kathy asked price point.
Price point. Ugh. I'm going to have to go and look up how much I paid for my yarn and how much I purchased my sign from, just to make sure that I have very fair pricing available on the product. But I think they go for roughly somewhere between 50 and 60 because this is going to have to ship in a 24-inch box. Oh, I was going to show you. Yeah. How can you know for certain that it's going to fit in a 24-inch box? Let me show you. So I'm going to have to tilt you down really quick again.
I'll do it.
So Steve's going to do that. I'm going to pull this off. Pivot. This is how I know it'll fit. So we determined that the finished design is right at, here's 26. So it's right at the 26 mark, right? So you're like, oh, well, it's got to go in a 26-inch box. Zoom out. Okay, because that looks like it's zoomed in. Okay, so yes, that makes sense until you understand that boxes fit in a diagonal. So my cutting mat is 24 inches top to bottom. And if I keep it 24 inches here, right, here's my box, I can actually get this wreath design in a 22-inch box. Here's my 22-inch line. If I take it all the way down to the bottom, we're right at, here's 22 inches. This will actually fit in a 22, 4-inch box. And it's not high enough that it takes it outside of the storm door. This also falls in storm door friendly designs. So that's how you can tell what size box it will fit in. So if you like what you're seeing, if you love how I teach and what I teach you, come join our private group. The open enrollment is closing. Our doors are closing to new members as of the end of January. So you only have a couple more weeks to join us because we're doing an entire Back to Basics course, which is really helping people understand how they put their designs together, what colors go good with other colors, just everything that you can possibly imagine. There's probably over 300 private tutorial videos that you can watch from 2018 all the way to the current videos. Plus, you get detailed materials lists that give you all the item numbers, measurements, directions, SKU numbers, where to buy it. That's all part of what you get as far as a private group member. Steve pinned it to the bottom. If you guys would love to join, I'd love to have you. You're not locked into any one long-term commitment. You can go monthly if you don't like it after a month and decide this just isn't it for you. You're not locked into any long-term contract. So it's entirely up to you how long you decide to stay. But I hope you'll stay longer. All right, everyone.
Ron said, I love this.
And incorporate. And keep all his pets close to him.
Virginia said, I love your Back to Basics lives.
Yes, Back to Basics lives are amazing. So, and I think we're all done with our Back to Basics this week. We meet every Monday and Tuesday. If you're unable to make any of those lives, they're always recorded and available for you to watch at your time frame that works for you. Other than that, have an amazing rest of your week. Don't forget, we come back on Thursday at 10, is it 10 a.m.? No, 11 a.m. on Thursday, Pacific, 1 o'clock Central, 2 o'clock Eastern time with another super simple design that I think you guys are going to love. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining me. I'll talk to you soon.